This video is going to have a bit of an overview of forms and how you can build and edit them as you need to. So what we're looking at here is the Forms page, which you're able to access in the top menu. If you want to create a new form, simply click on the green button at the top here called New Form. And what we're going to do is we're going to give our form a name. So we'll call this Test in this case. We're trying to give it an intuitive name that you'll know what it is in the future. We're then going to select the type of form we want and then give it an action. So what do we want to happen to people once they fill in this form? Usually you want them to be subscribed to a list or to receive a tag. So you're easily able to check these here. And we'll just click Create. You can edit those actions as well at a later point, which I'll show you in a moment. Okay, so this brings me up a plain form that I'm now able to edit. So you can see here I've got a header, so I can edit the header there. I've also got some text, which I can edit on the right-hand side. The other things I've got is the standard fields that go with every form, so full name and email. I can, however, add in any of the standard fields that are available, such as phone. I may want to do an image. So for example, I might want to put my logo up the top here or break up some of the form with images. I can also put in some more header areas if I want to break up the form. And also if I want to do some more text, I drop in a HTML code box, and this gives me the ability to type in some more copy, as you can see there. The other thing I can add is my own fields. So any of my custom fields I've already created, for example, what can we help you with? Drag and drop. Or I can create a new field by clicking Add Custom Field, choosing the type of field I want to create, and then adding that into my form as well. Other things you can do with the forms is you can obviously reposition the fields by dragging them at any point. On the Style tab, you've got two options for the layout. One of them is more of a horizontal look, and one of them vertical, like this. So you can switch between these two and see which one you're more comfortable with. I can change the background of the form to be any color that I like. I can then change the font color to be any color that I like. I can give my form a border, so you see there. And if I want the border to be curved, I simply hit a radius like this. I can make the border, here we go. So we make the border show up here with a different color by clicking on color swatches here and doing that. If you have brand colors that you know the hex values for, you can simply paste these in here and you'll get those exact colors up that you want. I can also change the button, so I can change the color of my button to be anything I like, the color of the text. I can also give it a border, and again I can curve that border. And I can also give it some padding. It just gives it a bit more space in the button, as you can see there, as I increase the number. If you want to change the button copy, just click on it, and then you'll be able to edit the text here, like this, and that will change that straight away. You can add custom CSS to your form if you choose. Where you would use this if you want particular branding to match with your website, for example. This can be pasted in here. The other thing you may want to do with your background is you may want to make it transparent. And the reason you'd be doing that is if you're putting this on a page on your website, for example, that has a really nice background image or already has some nice background colors, then you may want the form itself to be transparent. So you can do that as well. Just remember, if you do that, the font colors, if they're white, won't show up in ActiveCampaign. I'll do this, you'll see what I mean. See, they've disappeared, but they would show up if it was against, for example, a black background when you're finished with the form. So just keep that in mind. The last tab we've got here is options. So what do you want to happen once they hit submit? You can either show a thank you message and you're able to type in here what you like, or you can redirect them to a new URL. So you can paste in that URL here if you want it to take them off somewhere. I can then add all of my form actions. So we already added that we want to subscribe them to the list. I could also email the results. So for example, I might want to get a copy of these results. So I'll pop that in here. I may also want to give them a tag, just so that I remember why this contact entered the database, or if I'm going to use that in an automation later on. Whenever you do the subscribe to lists, in the opt-in options here, you see that the opt-in confirmation is always defaulted to on. My advice to you is to turn that off. And the reason being, if it's on, the contact is sent an email saying, are you sure you want to join this list? To which they have to respond for it to be true. So you'll end up with a lot of people who don't do it and then end up not joining your list. So the best idea is to turn that off and hit save. Once you're happy with the way that your form looks, simply hit integrate. And on this page here, you've got a couple of options of how you can integrate your form. So if I was embedding this on my website, I'd grab the simple embed code from the top, copy that, go across to my website and paste it in. If I was using it as a link, I'd simply copy that link, and you can see now this can be pasted into any browser, and then that form shows up exactly like this. So you do have that option as well. I can also put it into my Facebook page, so if you want it to show up on your Facebook page as a tab, use these instructions here to get that done. And the WordPress plugin can be used as well. However, I normally find with WordPress it's easiest just to use these embed codes to put the form where you want it to appear. The last thing you should know, which isn't showing here, is there's actually an iPad app for forms for ActiveCampaign, and this enables you to use your forms offline, which is particularly useful if you're taking it somewhere like an expo or a conference on an iPad maybe to get people to fill in and you're not really sure that there'll be Wi-Fi or internet available for you. That app is really good because it will save all the data, and as soon as you come into the internet, it'll upload it all into your account. So once you're happy here with your form, simply hit save and exit. That's going to add it into my list here. You can see it down the bottom here. One of the nice things is that at any time I can see all the people who filled in one of my forms. So if I click on the number here, that would show me a full list of all the contacts who have completed it. So if you need to see those people, you can simply by clicking on that number. You're also able to copy a form. If you use the drop-down arrow here, you can just hit duplicate. And that will make an exact copy of the form if you need to make a slight change and do something quite similar.